Shelter insurance has covered a lot of miles and a lot of cars and drivers since 1946. We like knowing we have you covered, so you can just sit back and enjoy the ride. Shelter insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter Agent Mark Manning about Shelter's competitive insurance rates.
Hello again, everybody. I'm David Black for Let's Talk Sports with Bud Black. An exciting time of year when it's baseball season. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. I want to remind you that the program is brought to you by the Bank of England Mortgage Company out at the Newport Village Mall. That's Kenny Thaxton, a member FDIC and equal housing lender. Also, Sally Fauchette Long has joined Kenny Thaxton out there. They know how to get things done. You're trying to buy a home and you need a mortgage, you need the money to buy the home, I'm going to recommend these folks and say, folks, they will take all the guesswork out of a home loan. They'll help you professionally get everything that you need to get done to get your money so that you can buy the home. You homeowners who are currently paying a higher interest rate, if you're interested in refinancing your home, why not talk to the friendly folks at the Bank of England Mortgage Company, Kenny Thaxton, Sally Long, out at the Newport Village Mall. Lots of things going on sports-wise, and baseball is one of my very best times of year. And just want to remind everybody that JCYA, the Jackson County Youth Activities Association, their program is in full swing right now. They're playing from 3-year-old up to 15-year-old. Lots of kids playing baseball and softball in our local organization. So if you get an opportunity to go out and support some of our kids out there at George Kell Park in the Jackson County Youth Activities Association. Other things going on, Razorback baseball, they've been in the top 5 or 6 all year long. They look like they're going to be a national seed if they can finish strong. Depending on when you're watching this during the course of the month or the next several weeks, we'll know more about the Razorbacks. But they had a great year, and everybody's predicting these guys to be one of the teams in Omaha, and we wish the Razorbacks the very best of luck. St. Louis Cardinals, they've been playing well. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. Mizuno, Dexter Fowler, Matt Carpenter off to not real good starts, but they expect these guys to hit late. If these guys get on a roll, the Cardinals can get on a roll, and they can be a top-notch team in the National League. About 10 miles from downtown St. Louis is a place called Sauget, Illinois. That's where Grant Black plays for the Gateway Grizzlies. Their season gets underway the 11th, 12th, and 13th of May. And they play a 96-game schedule over the months of May, June, July, and August. And they have a couple of days in September that they play. And then they have a split season. First half, second half winners, they'll get together and play a championship the first week in September. But Grant plays in a league called the Frontier League. There are teams from Missouri. There's teams from Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Western Pennsylvania. It's a 12-team league, 6 in the East, 6 in the West. It's a big-time baseball league. There's a lot of guys in this league that have been in professional baseball for several years. A lot of these guys have been with affiliated team organizations, and Grant is looking forward to a great summer. And 10 minutes from downtown St. Louis. He's been up there for 3 weeks now. He hadn't got to go see the Cardinals play yet because he's been too busy practicing with the Gateway Grizzlies. But you can follow us along on Facebook, on my Facebook account at David Black or Cable15TV.com to follow the Gateway Grizzlies. Newport Greyhound Classic football games, they're going on right now. We'll do that all summer leading up into the football season through the 1st of September. Brought to you by as an exclusive by Bad Boy Mowers up in Batesville and George Kell Motor Company here in Newport. So lots of things happening in the Greyhound Classics, and of course we'll put them on our website at Cable15TV.com. You can watch them at any time. Play on Sunday night and Tuesday night, all 7:30, I think, 7:30 on each night to watch those games. They are exciting games. We've just picked out a few over the course of the last 20-something years that we thought were pretty good football games, but I certainly hope that you enjoy the Greyhound Classics, and I appreciate all the comments that we've had back from those. Well, that's about it for the sports world this time, and again, the program brought to you by Kenny Thaxton at the Bank of England Mortgage Company at the Village Mall. If you need some home lending, you need a refinance on your home, see the friendly folks at the Bank of England. WRMC Medical Complex in Newport. This is Annie McAllister-Solis. She joins us to talk a little bit about a change or two that's happening here. Positive changes and things that'll help do a little clarification here of what we're trying to do with the After Hours Clinic.
Yes.
What do we got, girl?
Well, what people know as the After Hours Clinic here at the WRMC Medical Complex, it will now be called the Newport Weekend Clinic. And it makes sense. It just it better reflects our purpose and what we're trying to accomplish. And we want to help people, and we want people to be able to know when we're here. So the only thing that's changing is the name. The provider will still be Kathleen Maples with her RN Karen Willis. They do a great job here at the clinic. People love them. And the location, like I said, 2200 Malcolm Avenue here. It's open from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And on the weekend they have x-rays, and on Fridays they have MRI.
Yeah, I mean, we provide a litany of services here, and we just thought it was so important to, like you say, change the name to reflect what we do, because we are a weekend clinic. We don't want people to think that we're here on Wednesday after hours or whatever, but it's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What are the exact hours that we're here?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. They take the last patient at 7:30.
Okay. So. What exactly is a walk-in clinic? Kind of tell the folks what a walk-in clinic means, because it's a tremendous opportunity for folks to do what, if you need a doctor, if you need some care, we can provide that. Tell us exactly what it is.
What we always say is, illnesses and injuries, they don't take a break on the weekends,
right?
Because your usual provider is closed. The weekend clinic here, they'll see patients for minor illnesses and injuries, stuff that not life-threatening. You don't necessarily need to go to the emergency room, but you need some kind of medical care. And they're here, viruses, they saw a ton for flu over the winter, cuts, and just all different kinds of things.
You need to see a doctor, we're available if you need some medical attention, and like you say, not an emergency type situation, but if you're just down and out, you have flu symptoms and you need a little help, you need some direction, and you say, oh, I feel so bad, where do I go? I don't have anywhere to go because it's Saturday afternoon, or whatever the case may be. We do have places, and again, tell us the name change, tell us the hours again, and remind everybody that this change is just the name and name only.
Just the name only. It is the Newport Weekend Clinic, and there will be a new sign up out front. You'll be able to see it from the highway. Again, we're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Kathleen Maples is the APR, the provider here.
Well, I know that y'all continue to do great things here in Newport, Arkansas, and there's no doubt that Newport Jackson County is proud to have WRMC, and at the Newport Complex with a new name change, no longer the After Hours Clinic, and that's good. It's the Newport Weekend Clinic. Yes. Annie Solis, good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Let's continue on with more of our show. My good friend John Chadwell, NEDC, downtown Newport, Arkansas. Good to see you, my friend. And we are excited today to make an announcement that is huge for Newport, Arkansas, huge for Jackson County, huge for the state of Arkansas, and we are very, very excited. First of all, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I'm excited for our little old town right here in Newport, and you can pass along the information and tell us about the big announcement that we've got.
Well, a company called Grangus bought all of Noranda, which included the Newport plant, and so they announced today that they are going to revive that former Noranda plant, and Grangus is going to invest $26 million and hire 100 people over the next year and a half, 2 years. And so we're really excited. It's something we've been working on. It's something that without the AEDC, the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, we couldn't have done.
Right.
Drew Williams and Mike Preston and the team there, The governor's gotten involved. Everybody has worked on this as a team, from the local level to the state level to the company. The company's worked really hard, and I mean, anytime you're talking about investing $26 million, you want to make sure you're going to the right place. And you know, you and I were talking before we got on camera. You don't just invest $26 million to be somewhere for a year or two or three.
That's right. That's right.
You invest $26 million if you're planning to make a long-term commitment to a community. And so we are so thankful that Grangus looked at us, studied what was going on in Newport, and decided that Newport was a place for a long-term investment to bring these jobs back. They're going to be higher than our average wage, so folks in town are going to be able to get a good job, make a good living, have extra money to spend on their families. You know, just all the things that make you feel good about what you do. I told the ladies in the office, I said, this is one of those days that makes all the other days worth it.
It does. No doubt it does when you have a big announcement like this. And the thing about it, it doesn't come overnight. We just didn't start last week.
No, and particularly what I like to tell folks, this comes when you stay in a constant dialogue with your existing industries.
Right.
When you're talking to your existing industries, when they know that there is opportunity coming up, they let you know, or somebody connected with them lets you know, you get to make a pitch. The reason it's easier, I know people look at our existing industries and they go, oh wait, so-and-so added 100 jobs, yay, or yay. And if we had a factory building that added 100 jobs, they get a lot more excited. What you need to realize is, most of the time when you're working with your existing industry, you're competing on maybe one other community.
Right.
So it's you or one other community. Whereas if you're looking at a brand new industry, it's you and 200 other
That's
communities.
correct.
And it's a lot easier to land something when it's you and one other than when it's you and 200 others. So, but a lot of work by a lot of people. You know, the city and the county have been involved. The Economic Development Commission, the NEDC, those commissioners have worked hard and thought about this for a long time. It's not something that just happens overnight, and it's not something that doesn't take a lot of discussion. And what can we do? And basically, it's becoming a partner with a company.
Right.
And they want to be convinced, if they're going to spend $26 million, they want to be convinced that they don't just have a partner when they start this process, but they have a partner 4 years from now, they have a partner 6 years from now, they have a partner 8 years from now. And so that's part of what we needed to share with them. They shared with us what their plan was, and they're a very solid company. They're a company that's committed to quality manufacturing in a very safe environment. And I think they're going to be an outstanding corporate citizen. And Grangus is a Swedish company, and so it's bringing foreign investment into Arkansas, into the United States. It's something that's really, really good, but it couldn't happen if we weren't connected with all these partnerships.
Well, and you talk about the partnerships and the people that you're in contact with, and I know over the course of the last several years that you've been in contact with these people, and it takes a team to get it done. It takes a teamwork to get it done, and you got to have a strong Arkansas Economic Development Commission, which we do, and when everybody got together, and these good things in these days, just like you say, make up for those days that are not so good along the way.
Well, and it's not necessarily that days aren't so good, because we've had a lot of good days in Newport fairly recently. It's just there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of work. And what a lot of people don't see is sometimes we have prospects that we work really hard on, and they choose somebody else.
Absolutely.
And we worked, and we worked, and we worked, and you just kind of go, oh, okay. But so when you have worked and worked and worked, this makes up for 4 or 5 projects we worked on that might not
Absolutely.
happen.
So much stuff going on in Newport, Arkansas right now, and we'll talk with Julie about that later on. But it's just a good time to be in Newport, Arkansas.
It's
no doubt
a great
about that.
time to be in Newport.
John Chadwell, congratulations. We
Thank
are
you.
looking forward to this expansion, and this is huge for Newport and Jackson County, NEDC, and all the folks in Northeast Arkansas. Thank you for your hard work, my friend.
Thank you.
Unity Health Harris Medical Center, Newport, Arkansas. I want to introduce you to Brandon Morris, who is from New Vision. My friend, good to see you, sir.
Nice to meet you, sir.
And what in the world is everybody looking and going, what is New Vision? First of all, I want to find out a little bit about Brandon. Tell us about you.
All right. Well, my name is Brandon Morris. I'm the service coordinator at New Vision in the Van Buren, Arkansas site, and at the Sparks Van Buren site. I've been there for about 1.5 years. I've been a substance abuse counselor for 10 years. Love what I do. you know, it's a good field to be in. So.
Well, there's no doubt, and it's a tremendous program that has been added here in Newport. And you speak about New Vision. We have a New Vision class here in Newport. Not to be confused, this is something completely different. But tell us a little history, first of all, about New Vision, what New Vision is, and then what New Vision does. And we'll talk about specifically about what you got going on here.
Sure. New Vision was created about 25 years ago in St. Louis, Missouri, by Bill Billings and Rob McNutt. They founded this program. They saw a need for the service.
Okay.
You know, people, the withdrawal symptoms from some certain drugs and alcohol can be potentially fatal. They could be very, very sick, you know, very life-threatening types of illnesses. So there's a need for our service, for detox type services like this, medical stabilization services, because many times people want the help, but they can't get past the withdrawal symptoms to get to that next step.
Right.
And so that's really what we're here to do.
Okay, so you're setting up a program here, and you did tell me this is the fourth one in the state
It's the
of
fourth
Arkansas.
one in the state of Arkansas, yes, sir.
And tell me a little bit about the program, how it works here at Unity Health. Tell us about the program.
Sure. New Vision is a medical stabilization or detox service. It's a 3 to 5 day service in the hospital here. New Vision staff will receive phone calls and walk-ins and get some information, run the insurance, make sure we work with all kinds of insurance, including Medicaid and Medicare. Work with deductibles and things like that with the hospital. But once we assess the patient to deem them appropriate for the service, using the right chemicals, which we treat withdrawal symptoms from alcohol, opiates, and benzodiazepines.
Right.
Those are the 3 protocols that we have. Once we deem them appropriate for the service, we will bring them in, you know, to the service, assess them, complete our assessment tools, get all the pertinent information, and get them admitted to the hospital for a 3 to 5 day hospital stay, using a medical taper, different medications depending on what they're coming off of. Usually it's Subutex, Suboxone, or Methadone for opiates. Typically it's Librium or Ativan for alcohol or benzodiazepines. But it's a 3 to 5 day service with that. You know, while they're at the hospital here getting better, New Vision staff acts as case managers and helps them get set up with long-term aftercare.
Okay.
But certainly 3 to 5 days is not the end-all be-all cure. You know, we really encourage long-term treatment, whether it be inpatient, outpatient, medically assisted treatment. We'll help them get that set up based on their insurance, based on their needs, and what they're comfortable doing.
So this program is in place here at Unity Health, and are we in the process of putting it in?
It's in the process. It will be open on June 26th.
Okay.
is the go live date. But they are working towards implementing everything right now, training doctors and nurses and getting everything set up. They do have the staff hired, the New Vision staff hired for the service, and they're getting trained as well.
Tremendous epidemic when you start talking about, you mentioned those 3 classifications of drugs, and by the way, alcohol, #1 used and abused drug in the world. We don't classify alcohol as a drug, but
Right.
it certainly is.
Certainly
But talk a little bit about the epidemic, because it's here.
It is. Opiates are a huge epidemic in this country. You know, there's more overdoses than anything on opiates. You know, and now that the governments are trying to crack down on opiate over-abuse, over-prescriptions, we're seeing a big boom in heroin use. Easier to get in larger cities. Little Rock here in Arkansas is got a huge problem with heroin. But opiates are very, very commonly misused, sold a lot of times, easy to get. You know, anybody has any kind of surgeries, elderly people, it's just, they're so easy to get. And so it's become a huge problem, especially among younger people and even older people. The elderly are becoming more and more addicted to opiates because, you know, they're getting prescribed that. So absolutely, it's a big epidemic in this country, especially in Arkansas.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and a tremendous need for a program like this, New Vision, and I know you're excited to get it set up here in Newport, and I know Unity Health is excited to get it set up, and we'll have more information later on as we go about, you know, how to get, do you know yet what a person needs to do to get in the program at this stage? Do they have to have a referral from their doctor? How does that work?
They do not have to have a referral. Certainly, it would help to have all the information, but really, all the patient needs to do is call. Currently, there's an 800 number. It's 800-939-2273. Okay. They will be set up with either the Newport site once it gets up and running, or it'll be directed towards one of our other 3 New Vision sites in Arkansas. We can get more information and kind of get that set up, or they can just go to the website, and it's www.specialcarecorp.com/newvision.
Okay.
And so they can get information about that. But it is a go live date, June 26th here in Newport. But once it's open here in Newport, you know, our service coordinators and our staffs with New Vision will be doing marketing around the community, taking information to doctors' offices and counseling centers and things like that, trying to get the numbers and the word out about the service. So all they really have to do is call the service, give them a little bit of information, and usually they can get them in same day or the day after for admissions. Pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Brandon, a tremendous service. Unity Health, again, here in Newport and across northeast, north central Arkansas, doing great things, especially at the Harris Medical Center here in Newport. Brandon Morris, my friend, anything else we need to cover?
I think that's it.
Thank you, my friend. Good to
Thank you very
see
much.
you.
That's good to see you. Thank you.
We are where the rubber meets the road at Farmers Tire Mart in Newport, Arkansas, and this is Mr. Tommy Bain.
Hello.
Hi, sir.
I do.
How are you, man?
I'm doing real well.
Everything good?
See that?
I love that.
Everything good.
That's why I have this on.
Yeah.
Everything good, sun shining, weather pretty. Tell me about business.
We have been busy.
That's what you like it in.
It's yes. Oh yes. Service trucks have been running. And Bruce has been overcrowded, and so,
I like that, overcrowded. I like that.
and it's been good.
It's been good.
Been good.
You know, when you have people that are willing to wait, and when you're busy, that means you're doing something right back there.
That's right.
And we talk about it on this program a lot, we remind folks that we do automobile service here.
We do.
Obviously we do, and let's talk about some of the things that we do. We want to mention this to people once again.
All we do, front end work, you know, ball joints, tie rod ends, and wheel bearings, axles, and all the, you know, front wheel drive components that's up there nowadays. And we do alignments, brake work, and shocks and struts.
Sure, yeah.
And all those components that are necessary for that vehicle to roll, we do all those things. And of course, we do cooling systems on the cars.
Right,
And
yeah.
we do oil changes and lubricate the suspension, you know, where it can be done, and service transmissions, and the cooling system. We change and flush the coolant out of the system and replace it with new coolant, and that needs to be done, and all those things that are necessary for a vehicle to run up and down the road.
Yes, sir. Now you talk about the coolant, and of course, it's just now heating up. We got into the 80s. It's been forever for us to get in the 80s, and fix to be in the 90s. And pretty good time to check your coolant, wouldn't you think?
Oh yes, it's a necessary thing, and it's not hard to check that coolant. They got it in clear plastic containers now, so you can raise that hood and look at it. If it's a little low, it needs some.
Right.
And come by and we'll check it and see if it needs to be replaced.
Right.
Those and some people they don't understand that electrolytes build up in that coolant and causes rust particles to stick to the cylinder walls.
Sure. Sure.
So
Gets nasty.
Gets nasty. That's right. So at every year or every 2 years, whatever a vehicle recommends, it needs to be changed.
Right.
And flushed out.
Flush it out.
And new coolant put in it. So things like that are necessary, and that's just called preventative maintenance.
You bet. You bet.
And, all of us need to do it. Some of us are kind of lazy about getting it done, put it off till next time, you know. But it needs to be done on a consistent basis.
And a lot of things, Mr. Tommy. This is the time of year when people are, we're gearing up, school's getting out, we're going on vacation, it's that time, and we need to check out that vehicle before you get on the road, make sure it's okay.
Absolutely. We check all those fluids, the fluid levels, and check the tires, the tire pressure, and if you can look at the tires, and if they have irregular wear, it may need to be aligned before you hit the road. So we do all that for you, and it's preventative maintenance.
We encourage people that if you're, either whether you're going on vacation or not, but I mean, this is just a good time of year, and you can always say, well, I'd like to have that vehicle checked out a couple of times, once before winter sets in and once before summer sets in. A couple of times a year would be good. It's kind of like going to your dentist or to your eye doctor or whatever the case may be. Your vehicle needs a checkup too. We're the doctors for those vehicles, and that's what we do, and we can check it up and we fix it up.
That's right. That's right. And we look forward to seeing folks pull in. I remember you told me I needed to check this at this time of the year.
There you go. There you go.
It needs to be done.
We could fix up somebody with a set of tires, or if they need one tire, whatever the case may be. We handle a lot of brands of tires, pretty well get just about whatever you need. And but if you need tires, that's what we do. We do tires too.
We do tires. We do tires. We do tires.
Yes, we do.
We do big tires and do little tires.
I know some little bitty tires in there.
Those in between.
Yeah, you got some little bitty tires.
Yeah, that goes on in lawnmowers.
And then I saw some over there on the side there. It's some great big tires. Those don't go on lawnmowers.
Yeah, some of those are taller than me.
Those don't go on lawnmowers, do they?
No.
And then you have some regular tires, some truck tires and car tires. But what we encourage you, if you're in the market for a set of tires, we encourage you to come by here and get a price. We'd love to price you a set of tires.
That's right.
If you need a little car service, we encourage you to come by to let us run it through our shop. We feel pretty confident that we can get it done and we can get it done right.
Amen.
And we're working hard at Farmers Tire Mart, there's no doubt, aren't we, Mr. Bain?
Yes, sir. We're here from 7 in the morning till 5 of the evening, and weekdays, and 7 in the morning and to 12 noon on Saturdays. So we put in a pretty full week.
I guarantee you do. Well, it's always a pleasure to get to come down and see you. I know that when you talk about you're busy, that means you guys are taking care of folks that need to be taken care of. Been doing it a long time.
That's right.
Been doing it a long time.
Doing it a long time. And I hope to goodness that I can do it a long time more.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, I hope you can too.
Yeah.
I'd hate to know that you didn't. I wouldn't know where to go. This is Mr. Tommy Bain with Farmers Tire Mart. Folks, if you're going on vacation or even if you're not, come get your tire serviced. Let these folks look at it. Let the professionals take care of it. If you need tires, come get a price. We'll get you some tires. If we don't have them in stock, we'll have them here in a day or so.
That's right. And weekdays, mostly overnight.
Absolutely. We're at Farmers Tire Mart, Malcolm Avenue in Newport, where
The rubber meets the road.
Thank you, Mr. Bain.
Thank you.
We have the great privilege of getting to visit with Miss Karen Ribley from
Yes.
Jackson's Funeral Home, and it's kind of hard for me to say that name, but that's a tough one, isn't it?
It's hard for
Ribley.
everyone to
yeah,
say.
if you look at it, you go, now what is it? Ribley
Yeah.
or Ribley or it's Ribley.
Right.
I'm just good.
You are.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good deal. We're Jackson's Funeral Home, the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue, and we get to visit with Miss Jan a lot of times. But Karen joins us to, talk a little bit about Jackson's Funeral Home, and we serve lots of folks in Jackson
Yes.
County and north central Arkansas, and then sometimes we have the opportunity to serve our own, and
That's
we
right.
just did that
Yes.
with the passing of your father.
Yes.
And served well. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about prearrangement because your dad was prearranged.
Yes, he was.
And first of all, tell us about, and we talk so much. Tell me a little bit about your daddy.
Oh my goodness. He was larger than life.
Yeah.
He was something else. Tough.
Yeah.
Tough, never complained. He had colon cancer for a couple of years. and
Right.
If I had been him, when they were putting the chemo in and the needles I would have complained
Right.
constantly.
Yeah.
And he never did. He never did. And so it was tough.
Yes.
You know, it's tough, but they took care of me here.
I bet they did.
They did.
I bet they did. And as we always say, they took care of y'all the Jackson way.
The Jackson way.
Yes, that is
Yes.
fantastic.
I had some friends from out of town who commented on that, you know, how well
How
well everything was done.
Yeah, and I say it a lot, and I say it a lot on this program. I've been to funerals lots of places, big cities, small country, you know, little town services, and it's just something special about the way that the Jackson Funeral Home handles a funeral.
There is.
It's just special. It's just special.
It is, and everything. Of course, when I'm standing over there, and everyone always knows where to go and what to do, and it's odd being on the other side.
I
of
bet it was.
It's
yeah.
very odd, you know, not just in the sense that it's devastating, but in the sense too that you know how everything's supposed to be going behind the scenes, and you think, why are you telling me this? I know where to go and what to,
Absolutely.
what to do. Everyone follow me.
Just follow me.
Just follow me.
We'll get it done. And so thankful for pre-arrangement. First of all,
Yes.
remind folks just exactly what pre-arrangement is, and then some of those questions that when you sit at this table, a lot of those questions are answered. But talk a little bit about pre-arrangement and your dad's
Well,
specifically.
when you pre-arrange, you select the service and merchandise you want. And normally folks go ahead and prepay that. They either pay it at once or they pay it out over the course of 5 years.
Right.
No interest on the payments, so every dollar you pay comes right off the top, and it locks your prices in at whatever today's cost is. So it also, something that we found to be very important is that along the way, you fill out your information and you write down the things you want people to know. And you can write down the songs you want, you can pick out the pictures you want, you can do your own pallbearers.
Right, right.
And so that was one thing that was a lot of help to my brother and I, was that Dad had done that part.
Sure.
And so we had an idea of where to go and what to do and what he wanted. And then we did some of that, and then we did, as Dad actually told me when we were doing it, he said, do what you want to, because that's what you always do anyway. So in
It's kind
honor of my daddy, I did some of what I wanted to do anyway.
Well, that's fantastic. There's the Jackson way, and along the way of that, there's also Karen's way.
There's also Karen's way. And
to
Daddy,
add to the Jackson way.
exactly. And Daddy was very simple, and he didn't want a big fuss, and he didn't want a lot of attention on himself. And he always said, just throw me in a ditch. You know,
Right,
which,
right. You bet.
Dad, you know, but so he wanted things very simple, and very simple doesn't always work for me. So
That's
we
exactly
had to
right.
do a little extra there. But it was good to have it all done. My brother and I, we didn't have to worry about how it was going to be paid
Sure,
for.
it
We
was
didn't
done.
have to worry about waiting to hear about life insurance and all of
Sure.
those things that go along with that. It was just done.
Well, there's no doubt that it was done in a good way.
It was done in a good way, and it was, I think, a gift of love. He gave
Yeah.
us a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my prayers and thoughts with you and
Thank
your family,
you.
and I've heard a lot of stories about your dad recently, and
Ah.
you find out some things about people that you didn't know.
He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet he was. I bet he
Yeah,
was.
He was a lot of fun. He was tough, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good to see you, girl.
Thank
Good to
you.
Karen Ribley. Karen Donovan.
Yes.
Ribley.
Yes.
I'm good at that name, aren't I?
See, I went from one name that nobody could spell to another name that nobody can spell.
That is correct. That's right. You should keep on trucking, girl. You keep on
Just
trucking.
keep on going.
We're at Jackson's Funeral Home, the 1900 block of Malcolm Avenue with Karen Ribley, and we appreciate you, girl.
Thank you.
Let's continue on with more. Merchants and Planters Bank, the North Branch, Newport, Arkansas, and it is a busy place, as it always is, but you get convenience and you get service, and the reason we do that is because of people like these two. This is Marion Hockaday. This is Martha Edwards. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to find out a little bit about y'all. Most of us that do business with Merchants and Planters Bank know who y'all are, know how long you've been here, but Marion, tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been at Merchants and Planters Bank.
Well, I'm Marion Hockaday, and I've been with MEP Bank for 25 years. I'm a customer representative / teller, and I love working for them.
Martha?
Martha Edwards.
Been here how long? How long you been here, Martha?
I've been here 17 years.
Wow.
Started out downtown as a loan assistant.
Right.
Moved to our Swifton branch when we opened it.
That's right. That's right.
And then when Vera retired from here, I started working here 6 years ago, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do know this experience has made the difference in Merchants and Planters Bank, and especially at the North Branch. And talk a little bit about this branch. We have done some additions to the back, which makes it more convenient for us to use the drive-through windows. Talk about that and how much easier it is for us to use the drive-through windows here.
It's definitely a lot easier.
Yes, it is.
As most people know, before we did the addition, the drive around, it would get backed up past Sit-Go over here beside us. Would take a long time to get through the drive-through.
Right.
Now it pretty much it flows easily.
It does flow easier, and there's a way in. It's a longer way. You can get out from the teller machine on the far side over there. That's a tremendous convenience. And Blue Jean Friday. Who wants to talk about Blue Jean Friday?
Well, that's one of our fundraisers that we do.
Okay.
At MEP Bank, where our employees get a chance to contribute to the March the Dime.
Right. Okay. Right.
And so, we do that, and, we raise anywhere from $2,000 on up.
Wow.
Yearly.
Wow. Good deal.
Blue Jeans for baby. And plus, it's also a way we get to dress down a little bit on Friday.
There you go. There you go. Well, Friday's a busy day. It's a busy day every day. Friday's a busy day. What is it that you have to do to take care of customers? Because as we sit here filming, there are people, we could see the drive-through, we could see people coming in and out. What makes it easier? What do we have to do? What are y'all's job responsibilities to make people pleasant and get in and out of here?
We just kind of wait on one customer at a time. It would, if customers had their account numbers ready when they got here, that would make it flow a little quicker. But, it's really not a problem. We can look it up, but just being happy, waiting on one customer at a time.
Yeah. When you say that, I noticed how you looked at me and then you looked at Ben. And we're probably two of the many that say, we don't have our account numbers, but could you ladies be so kind to look it up for us? And you go, oh, I know it. I know it. I don't have to look it up.
And we don't mind doing that, but it would make it flow a little bit faster. And, we have a good group of customers. They don't get really irritated because they have to wait a little bit.
Right. And something that's so important at Merchants and Planters North office, we're conveniently located. We're in the central part of the community, but Saturday banking has been big, and you folks do a marvelous job. Who wants to talk about Saturday banking?
Well, Saturdays are pretty steady. Our hours are from 9 to 12, and I think it's a good thing for our customers because there are some customers that can't get to do their banking during the week. So with us being open, that helps them out a whole lot.
Yeah, and I know, banking has changed. Banking has really changed. The
yeah.
world has changed. The technology has changed. It's you can pull up, and we mentioned earlier in the broadcast here, you can pull up to a machine and get money.
Right.
The machine will pay you money.
Yeah.
Such convenience, and we have that here. And let me ask you this, Marion, if there's something that without banking, tell us something about you that maybe most of us don't know.
Well, back in 2006, I met President Bill Clinton walking down Madison Avenue. We stopped, got out, waited for him to get there, and got pictures and hugs with him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't guess I've ever met a president of the United States. That's pretty cool. Martha?
I haven't done anything near that.
Have you met the president of the bank?
I have definitely met him. I have met him. Actually, Jim Gowan Jr. and I started working here on the same day.
Is that right?
We did,
Well, I
we
mean,
did.
that is kind of unique. That is
It
kind of
is,
unique.
but-
Well, the experience of working here, I know, is fun, and when you put in the years that you ladies have, Merchants and Planters Bank's doing something right, and
Yes.
a lot of fun, is it not?
It is. It's a great place to work. Everyone's a family here. Of course, everyone gets along. We squabble occasionally or whatever, but it's a great place to work. We have great customers, great employees, so I really wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
Well, the North Branch is not only the place to go, but Merchants and Planters Bank in general. What I always say is my hometown bank, my bank. I mean, I've been
Right.
with Merchants and Planters Bank for a long, long time, and so is our family. We appreciate what you girls do out here. Anything else we need to add?
Well,
Y'all want to tell us how good you are? Because let me tell you what, I know you're good.
We'll just continue that tradition.
There you go. Martha Edwards and Marion Hockaday, Merchants and Planters Bank, it's kind of hard for me to say, out at the North Branch here in Newport, doing marvelous things for our community like they have for many, many years. Visiting with Jay Cox, St. Michael's Place, in a little different scenario. Happened to be at my office, filming on a Thursday night at 10 minutes after 7. Jay Cox, you working late, my friend? You working late? Yes, sir.
You know, duty calls. You got to step up and take care of business. You know?
Hey, we do, and again, we get on here and we like to talk about the services that we provide at St. Michael's Place, and we like to talk about the new things that we're adding and the positive atmosphere that's going on at St. Michael's Place. But we've got something else we want to talk about tonight. We want to talk about some of our nurses.
Yes. I want to give a big shout out to all the nurses on staff at St. Michael's Place. This is Nurses Week, and I tell you what, David, we have on staff some of the best nurses that you could actually ask for, not just in skill, but long-term care, it kind of gets in your blood.
Sure.
You know, it's one of those things that when you come into long-term care, you got to have a heart for it.
Yep.
You know, the residents become your family. You're with them, long periods of time, and you see the good days and the bad days, and our nurses have a lot of compassion, a lot of love in their heart, and they work as a team. And our leadership is, Keisha and Starla. We've interviewed them before, and they have done a great job over the past couple years of really just pulling together a good team. And you know what? I just can't say enough good things about our nursing staff there at St. Michael's Place.
Jay, you have to have quality people, and people who are nurses are generally quality people. That doesn't make them a quality nurse, but the people that we have in our positions are not only quality people, but they're quality nurses. Talk a little bit about, from an entry level to the top level, where are you on the nursing scale? How does that work? I mean, somebody comes in at what level, and how do they progress, and where do they progress to?
Well, actually, right now we're taking applications from out at ASU Newport, fixing to graduate a few LPN class out of the class, and we actually have some applications have been turned in, and so we're actually in an interview process. We're needing some nurses now, not only in the leadership positions. Actually, we need some RNs to come in the administrative roles, but we also need LPNs for the floor. And so, really, whether you're a registered nurse or an LPN, we have positions available right now in all shifts. And I'm not going to pretend to say which shifts are open or not. That's really out of my scope, and it's been a long day. But in all and under the scope of things, we have some positions available, and I believe if you just come out and meet some of our staff and walk through our facility, meet some of our residents, you really can kind of get a feel if it's right for you. You know, we'd be happy to. Not just for people coming out to bring your loved one, but if it's somewhere you'd like to work, come tour the facility for that too. We're always talking about come out and about seeing, about bringing your loved one, but also maybe a place you want to work. And since this is Nursing Week, you know, I've worked at other facilities as well, so I actually want to give a shout out and a big thank you to the nurses that work over at Unity, and also, you know, Lindley Healthcare and the doctor's offices here in town. We've got some great nurses, some that's been in the profession for a long time. I wish I could call them all by name, but the Newport area has lots of great nurses.
Sure do.
And,
sure do.
You know, it's one thing about it that they are a lot of times the backbone, and well, the CNA as well. And I definitely, it's not CNA week. We'll talk about them another time, but
Right.
they also are the backbone of long-term care.
Well, and there's no doubt that nurses, and you mentioned, you know, from doctors' offices to different facilities, that you got to have good ones. You got to have good ones. You want the best ones, and you got to have a good facility in place. You got to have a good
Right.
facility place to be able to get to be able to get the good ones. And your pay scale's got to be to where you can get the good ones. And we think at St. Michael's Place right now, Jay, that we've turned the corner. We talked about, it's been over a year ago. As long as we've been doing this program, we said, look, we've got some issues that we want to try to get straightened out. Man, we've worked extremely hard.
Right.
We're a better place today than we've been in a long time.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, we've overcome many milestones, and got a good staff. Actually have a new administrator. We'll be introducing, her name is Lisa, and we'll be introducing her probably in the next episode that we record. Wasn't able to put that together on this
Right.
recording, but you know, one of the things, and not meaning to get off what we're talking about, but going back to Nurses Week, you know, when it comes to being a nurse, and I'm not a nurse, so forgive me for not knowing a lot of the ins and outs of what they do. It's a lot more than just passing meds. You know,
Right.
You may go into a residential room, and obviously for certain restrictions, I can't tell who and what, but you know, you may find a nurse holding the hand of a resident, you know, talking about their day.
You bet.
There may be a tear going down the cheek of a resident, or, you know, maybe going through something and they just need somebody to talk to. A nurse is a lot more than just facilitating medicine and taking care of their personal needs, but they're also a friend. And I tell you what, there's been also times when in the heat of the moment, when you know, cardiac things take place,
Sure.
and CPR type situations come up, where full codes and things, and I've seen the nurses react,
Right.
you know, quick response and pull together as a team. Whether it be it may be that a code blue comes, you know, and a resident is in need of immediate care.
Right.
And maybe the nurses down in this area and the nurses in the back, they'll all pull together.
Sure.
You know, and it doesn't matter, you know, what hallway they're from, but they pull together as a team, you know, no matter what's going on, whether they're on lunch break or whether they're coming back from, you know, being on break somewhere or doing paperwork. You know, when a resident is in immediate need, they're right there to respond, and it's really amazing to watch them work. You know, all the training and all the year, or the time spent in the books to achieve that nursing license. It's almost like it's just an immediate.
Right.
It comes natural.
Right.
It's kind of
absolutely.
like breathing. You know, I sit back and just amazed. You know, sometimes at how these nurses just respond, and how, you know, it doesn't matter if they have to, you know, kind of get down in the floor and get a little dirty.
Do what you got to do.
Do it.
Do what you got to do.
Do what they got to do. So props tonight to the nursing staff, whether it be administration or whether it be on the floor, whether you're a brand new nurse or a 30-year veteran. And we have veteran nurses, we have new nurses, we have nurses that's been in it just for a little while. So specialized nurses, and we say from St. Michael's Place, thank you on Nurses Week, and we appreciate the job well done.
Jay Cox, nobody can say it like you can.
Thank you, David.
I hear lots of great things in the community about St. Michael's Place, and hear lots of great things about Jay Cox. Appreciate you taking time on a late night, working late, my friend, but we got to get it done, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Jay
Yes,
Cox,
sir.
St. Michael's Place. We're at Customized Vision Care in the Village Mall in Newport, and this is Dr. Gavin McDowell, and we virtually turned the camera on, literally, virtually, whatever the case may be, about 2 minutes ago when we tried to get going for some reason.
Hadn't got it going yet.
Well, we don't have a cameraman over there. Our cameraman's gone. Ben's out. He's working. He's on the
We're
phone.
self-sufficient, though. I mean, that's.
We got it started, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be self-sufficient.
I don't know exactly about that, but I know we got the camera going. Does that mean we're self-sufficient?
We don't need nobody. That's what it is.
Ain't got nobody. Ain't nobody got no worms. I went fishing one time. We were driving up the hills. And I asked this guy, I said, how's fishing? He says, not good. Ain't nobody got no worms. I said, okay. So you are Dr. Gavin McDowell, the one, the only.
There may be another. I mean,
No, there's not. There may be another
like
one
me.
named Gavin McDowell.
True.
Yeah, but I want to congratulate you on completing the course in New Vision Newport.
Yeah, thank you.
And tell me a little bit about that, and tell all the folks in
Oh,
Newport.
it was really fun. New Vision Newport is a leadership enrichment program. Let's call it that. It's basically looking for people in the Newport area who are interested in or exhibit characteristics or behavior that could be deemed as a leader. And it's not like somebody searched me out for it. I volunteered for it. So. No, but it's real. It's a community.
It's a good class.
It's a fantastic program, and its whole purpose is not only promoting the leadership mentality within people within the community, but also finding projects that benefit the community, benefit every facet of the community, be rich, poor, those into entertainment, those not. I mean, we're really all, for example, I was in class 15. We were divided into 3 different groups with 3 totally dynamically different projects.
Okay.
And it's fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. It's really fun.
People need to, if they're asked to go to one of those, they need to do that.
Absolutely.
Year-long deal?
Well, roughly, think of it like it's like a school year long
right.
thing. Through the summer, not necessarily a lot going on, but it's you commit basically to 1 day a month.
Okay.
That you have to go do projects and presentations and stuff. But one of the trips is to Forest City, where we go do the ropes course, and you learn a lot about yourself when your butt's about 50 feet in the air. And
you got to get down.
You got to get down.
You got to get
somehow.
out. You got to get out.
But yeah, I mean, we went to Forest City and did that. We went to and did a tour of the Capitol, Little Rock, and met with some of the legislators of our district. And no, it was really, really nice. And got the opportunity to meet up with a lot of I'll call it big players within the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, people who not only with power, but if you want to call it that, but with
people who are influential,
who are doing things in the community. I mean, like I said, I cannot say enough good things about it. If you have the opportunity, if your employer asks you to be a part of it or ask if you want to go to it, take them up on it. It's a fantastic thing to do.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, congratulations. I know you had a good time.
Yeah.
Had several people comment that you'd been in the class, and I thought I'd ask you about it, and I saw your nice award over there.
Yeah, got me a plaque and everything, got my name on it.
You are super cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I'm gonna put it right next to I have a trophy in the back. It's the back half of a horse that I got at a golf tournament. If that gives you any idea how bad my golf game is.
You didn't win. I got it, brother.
Yeah.
I got it. So tell us what you do at Dr. Gavin McDowell's Customized Vision Care.
That sounds almost like a M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, but
anyway,
that's kind of, I mean, what
I'm
do
an
y'all
eye
do?
guy.
Eye guy.
Eye guy. I was thinking about that.
Are you an eye guy or an eyes guy? Which are you? Eye guy?
I'm an eye guy because I have some patients who only have one, so I can't.
That's a good point.
I don't want to exclude anybody.
Why you bring me up like that?
No, you have 2. Just one's really, really bad.
One's real bad. The other one's okay. One's really bad. But you go through an extensive amount of training, and then coming out of college, and then you open up your own shop, and then it just takes a certain amount of professionalism, and you guys give great professional service, and the one word that I could use that I think explains y'all the best is thorough.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about being thorough with an examination here.
Well, for example, I'm trying to be very diplomatic about this.
Be diplomatic.
You can get your eyes checked at many different places.
Right.
And for the most part, every optometrist has gone through the same amount of education that I've gone through. The same amount of school, same amount of dedication, same amount of knowledge should be there.
Mm-hmm.
How that's delivered and conveyed to you is dependent upon the doctor.
Right.
And sometimes the environment. There will be some cases where you're going to roll through for an eye exam, and the sole purpose is to, going to get you in glasses. Come on, get in the chair, turn and burn, get out.
Right.
That ain't the case here.
Right.
We don't hurt you through like cattle. It may feel like it if I'm running behind and I'm trying to catch up, but we really do everything we can not to run behind. But anyway, we pride ourselves on trying to give the most thorough, comprehensive exam there is. And that's we're checking everything from front to back, side to side. We're checking not only vision, but we're checking ocular health. We're checking how one eye's working dependently on the other. How are we going to balance things out? What's going to be the right fix, the right tool for you? And that's what I try to explain to patients when I'm back there is that, we're going to check your vision. I'm going to look inside your eyes. We're going to check health. We may check over a functional, how the function of the eyes or some of the tissues of the eyes are toward the end. But we're going to use all the information I can get to figure out what works best for you. Because if glasses is not the fix, I assure you, I'm not going to try to talk you into a pair of glasses.
Right.
Because if it ain't going to help you, it ain't going to help me.
Right.
So, matter of fact, I've had conversation. This is a Wednesday. We're doing this. I've had conversations with 3 patients this week, and I talked them out of glasses.
Right.
Because it just was not going to be the fix.
Right.
And actually, one of them, I did everything I could to talk them out of them, and they wanted to use the glasses.
Sure, and that's okay.
But
yeah,
I'll put it this way: I'm going to give you all the information you can have to make the best decision you can. Because I can't. At the end of the day, I can't force you to do anything. I'm not your mama.
That's right.
I ain't anybody's mama. But anyway, I'm not even my own boss. My wife is the boss. But anyway. I can give you all the information you can have, and from that you have to make the best decision you can.
I'm 62 years old and been going to optometrists for a long time, and I can honestly say you are the absolute best that I have ever been around. And that's not to say that we don't have others here in our community and throughout Northeast Arkansas and wherever you might want to go. But as far as you personally taking care of me and my vision, you're the best I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
And I see you do patients that way every day that I'm in here. When we're in here, we're usually here for 30 minutes. We interview for 10 minutes. But I see you take care of patients, and when you bring them out, everybody's satisfied. Everybody seems. When you walk out of the back here, and you got a smile on your face, and that's the way I see. That's the way I see your patients come out with smiles on their face.
Well, we are a bit different, and I think we've talked about this, at length before. I'm not the starch jacket. I'm not dry. I'll put it that way.
Right.
I'm not dry.
Right.
I may have to be stern with you because you're making dumb choices. But anyway.
I've been there. I've been there.
But the thing of it is I want to enjoy coming to work. Because, this practice is just an extension of me.
Yes,
and so therefore I've surrounded myself with staff who treat patients like I want to treat them. And so we're lighthearted. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We take the patient seriously.
Right.
And that's kind of the difference. I like to think that's our difference from others. Now, that, like you were saying a while ago, in this community alone, we are blessed. We have some fantastic eye care providers in this community. Should you give me the chance to be your guy, that's fantastic. You're not going to make a mistake in the community.
Right. There you go. There you go. Dr. Gavin McDowell, Good to see you, my
Good to
friend.
see you
As
too.
always, it's a pleasure to get in to come to visit with you.
I bet it is.
Then you look at my eyes and tell me how good I look today.
Oh boy.
I appreciate you, sir.
Train wreck. Anyway.
Yeah, train wreck is what everybody says. Train wreck. It's a train wreck. But you know, it's a train
Are
wreck.
you too old for a nickname?
No, sir.
Okay, train wreck it is.
Train wreck it is. Customized vision care. If you want some professional care, Dr. Gavin McDowell in the Newport Village Mall.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the May edition of the Farmers Supply Association Agriculture Report. I'm Randy Klepechka, agronomist with Farmers Supply Association. Well, we're taping on May the 9th, and things have changed considerably from back in April. You know, the weather changed really abruptly, right at almost exactly May 1st. We went from probably one of the coldest, I think they said it was the coldest lows ever since they've been taking records, you know, about 150 years. The coldest lows ever in April, and we had, you know, pretty wet. It wasn't extremely wet, but it was fairly wet, and that combined with the cold temperatures made for a difficult month, or you know, a slow month for agriculture really in April. But May 1st to the day almost, things started getting dry, things started getting a lot warmer, and now May 9th we're seeing temperatures near 90 degrees for highs, and we're starting to get dry, a lot drier than we'd really like to be for some of the things that need to be going on, such as emergence and weed control. Planting progress, just like when the calendar changed, things really picked up and really in pretty good shape as far as our planting progress. Corn is pretty much done. Rice, you know, we're probably at least 80 to 90% done. Still got some rice to plant, but you know, especially with the hybrids, we've got time to make good yields with these later plantings. Soybeans, pretty good shape for soybeans as well. Now, we're really getting a lot of guys wanting to plant soybeans earlier and earlier every year, and a lot of guys want to get their beans planted in April, so we've kind of missed a lot of that April window in a lot of areas. But you know, with May and early June beans, we can still cut some outstanding soybean yields. We just don't maybe have quite the potential as we do in April. So, but overall, we're in pretty good shape as far as planting progress. We have had some issues with emergence this year, and that all goes back to the weather. And we had that really cool April. We had some good moisture to keep the, you know, the crust softened on the soil and things like that, but it was just so cold that those seedlings or seeds weren't doing anything. They were very slow in the germination process, so that really hurt emergence issues. You know, even like I said, even though we stayed with good moisture conditions, it was just so cold things didn't happen. And then when we turned that calendar again to May, it warmed up, but it also started getting dry. So we've had some crust issues. Most of my time during this first week or so of May has been out there with my pocket knife and out there trying to look at how those seedlings were developing down there, seeing if we were going to get a stand, whether we need to flush rice, rotary hoe beans, and things like that to try to get a stand. So emergence has been an issue, and it's been something we've been dealing with quite a bit. When emergence is an issue, you need to get out there and try to determine what that stand is. And you got to do that by making some counts and get some real numbers out there instead of just guessing. I mean, you know, sometimes you can guess pretty good, but really, if you get out there and count some plants in specific areas, you can learn a lot more. Really, several ways of doing this. With rice, we just use a square foot apparatus. You can make that with anything you want, you know, PVC or anything, whatever you want to make it out of, whatever you got to make a square foot, and throw that several places in the field and determining how many plants are in that square. With our conventional varieties, we want a bare minimum of 5. With our hybrids, we want a bare minimum of 3 generally. Now, if you're extremely uniform, sometimes you might could fudge on that even a little bit, but really we want those as a minimum. You know, preferred with rice, we want, you know, get up there with our conventional varieties about 15 or so, you know, and with our hybrids get up there around maybe 10 or something like that, 6 to 10 or something like that. But we can get by with these minimums, you know, if we take care of everything real well. Good weed control, good management, we can get by with those kinds of numbers. With soybeans, we really want probably over 100,000 plants per acre out there. Now, some Missouri data shows that if you're down there at about 70,000 plants per acre, and they're uniform, you know, we talk about uniformity a lot, then your yield potential is still up around 90% or so. So, you know, that's not bad. I mean, we want 95 to 100 preferably, but 90% might be tolerable for some people. So, 70,000 is where you get that 90%. Again, I would rather see probably a minimum at least 90 to 100,000. And this early, most people are going to go ahead and replant or spot or plant into the existing stand or something like that if they have those kind of numbers, because again, with this much time to go, most people want to try to be near that 100% range, as far as their yield potential. So that's where we're at. Again, with rice, a square foot apparatus. With soybeans, you can just take a ruler or tape measure out there and measure a specific length of row and count the numbers in that row. It's different for row spacing. And then something kind of unusual we use with soybeans, especially with drill soybeans, is actually a hula hoop. And a lot of people laugh when you talk about using a hula hoop to determine plant stands. But when you've got those narrow row soybeans, you really need to have a larger area to count from, because sometimes if you use a square foot in soybeans, you're going to throw out there and get a lot of zeros. If you get the hula hoop out there, it's going to be a bigger area and you can get some counts that mean something. So again, if you determine the diameter of your hula hoop, you'll know how many seeds determine how many thousand plants per acre. So again, first step there, if you're marginal stands, determining your exact count, and then make your decisions on replant or planting into the existing stand, spot planting, whatever you need to do. Other things we need to look at this time of year. Number one, weed control. Again, we're so dependent nowadays on residual herbicides, it seems like, that we need to really get a residual first thing we need to do, we need to start clean. You need to get all weeds out of that field. Now, if there's some junky winter weeds that are kind of spotty out there, don't worry so much about them. But I'm talking about things like in rice, things like barnyard grass, and soybeans. Of course, number one would be pigweed. So absolutely start clean when it comes to some of those major weeds like that. And when I say start clean, whatever it takes, whether it takes tillage, paraquat or gramoxone application, herbicide, tillage, again, whatever it takes to get those fields clean, because if you don't get them clean, it's going to be a battle all year. It's going to cost you a lot more money to clean them up than it would if you got it on the front end, and it's just going to be more difficult to clean them up as well. It's going to be more expensive to clean them up. So again, start clean, overlap residuals. We want to get a residual herbicide out there at planting, and then preferably one overlapped, somewhere around 2 to 3 weeks later if we see a rain in the forecast. And that's been an issue for right now. Again, ever since the first part of May, we're not getting those timely rains we need out there. And that makes it tough to get these, because if you don't get a rain, these residual herbicides aren't going to work and you've wasted your money. But at the same time, if you have severe barnyard problems, severe pigweed problems, you almost have to take that chance that it's going to rain at some point and get those herbicides activated. Most of them are going to lay there a while. I've been getting that question a lot lately. Most of them are going to lay there at least 2 weeks without losing anything. So eventually when you do get that rain, you do flush that rice, you're going to get them activated. Now you may have some weeds germinating before that, but you're going to get them activated eventually and give you some help. And then after the residuals, obviously you're still going to have some escapes, and just got to make timely post-emerge applications with whether it's Liberty, Flex Star in your beans, in rice, things like Rice Star, Propanil, and all those kind of things. New Path with your Clearfield varieties and things like that. So again, good weed control is critical. Next step that I want to talk about briefly for this month will be nitrogen fertilization of rice. Really, we have about 3 methods that our farmers use. A few of them use a single pre-flood method, where they put everything out early in front of the flood, and you can do this if you can flood up in 5 to 7 days, and if you can hold that flood consistently, a good flood consistently from there on out for at least 3 weeks, really you can get by. And actually research has shown this method to be the best if all those factors exist. So single pre-flood. The main thing, the main recommendation of the University of Arkansas, and probably the main one that I see used, is the 2-way split. You put about 70% of your nitrogen pre-flood, about that 4 to 5 leaf stage of growth, and then the other application about mid-season. And the other method that some people use is a spoon feed method, and that one generally requires Probably about 100 pounds of nitrogen in 5 separate shots. So again, that's the spoon feed. A couple things I'd like to encourage everyone to do. When you're using that two-way split especially, write down the date that you put that first application out there, because the research has shown that, that application will hold out about 3 weeks or so. So, you don't want to put a mid-season shot or another shot out there for at least 3 weeks if you put that big shot out early. So again, write that date down. That way you don't come in there and fertilize maybe 2 weeks. Even if your internode is moving, you think, well, it's time to go ahead and fertilize because my internode's moving. But you need to wait at least 3 weeks after that first application. Let all of that nitrogen get up, taken into the plant before you put that next shot, because don't put it out there just because you think, well, it's half-inch internode, I've got to fertilize, because it still hasn't used up all of that early shot. So again, wait at least 3 weeks. You want at least 3 weeks after application, and at least the green rig stage of growth before that. One more thing is the green seeker way of determining mid-season nitrogen needs. This was started within the last couple of years. I think this is an especially good method if you're putting that big shot out early, the single pre-flood, or if you're thinking about a two-way split but you put a real heavy rate on that first shot. It's really good to use that green seeker method, which is a green seeker's little handheld instrument that uses light and color to see whether or not you need to add mid-season fertilizer or not. So if you're going to use green seeker, you got to put out a reference plot, a little heavier fertilized area to compare with the rest of the field. So that's got to be done at that pre-flood nitrogen timing. So if you want to use green seeker, you got to be thinking about it now. Don't come out and ask somebody to use green seeker if you haven't put a reference plot out, because it won't be real accurate. So anyway, I'd be glad to work with anybody on that wants to. Also, the extension people, are glad to help you on those kind of things as well. So again, the green seeker method, if you're wanting to do that, then keep that in mind right now when you make those pre-flood applications, and get a hold of me if you're a Farmer Supply customer, or extension people or other people might be willing to help you on this as well. So, a lot of things to think about in the month of May. It's a big month for establishing your yield potential of all of our crops. For more information, you can contact me at Farmer Supply Association, and this has been Randy Klepechka with your Farmer Supply Association Agriculture Report for the month of May.
He's the Executive Director of White River Area Agency on Aging, and it's always my pleasure to get to come in and visit here at White River at Batesville. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Just got back from Washington, D.C., and I made it back, got there, and made it back okay.
So you have a big time. We got to visit for 30 minutes here prior to getting on and talk about what you did there, but an interesting trip to say the least, and it was a learning experience for you.
Right.
Tell us why you were there. Tell us a little bit about the trip. Tell us what you learned.
Well, it's one of the things that I have found out, whether it be in school business or we're now dealing with healthcare, from time to time you just got to go to where the power is, and you got to see the folks that make the rules and make the laws. And so we try to go, and David, we are a part of the National Area Agency on Aging, and there's a big office there. And so they keep us really in contact of really what's going on in Washington. And also they have the access to all the research that we know that's going on as far as the number of seniors that are turning 65 every day. That's 10,000.
Enormous number.
That's going to put a load on the system. And so our concern is those of us that work in healthcare, how in the world are we going to be able to shift all these services that we provide now to the many more people that we're going to have coming in utilizing these services? So, we're there to talk about our programs, making sure our representatives, our senators understand all the things that we do for seniors, disability folks, all this areas that taking care of seniors. And so we have to make sure they understand what our program's about, because David, it's amazing the people that come to DC that want to talk to these representatives and senators. and everybody that goes in there, they want something.
Sure.
And so everybody's got good programs, and everybody thinks what they do is the most important. But we know that we got seniors that we got to take care of. So when we go in there to Senator Cotton's office or Senator Bozeman, they know who we're representing, and we visit with them from time to time. If there's some issue, then we're all the time. But they have really good staffs, and they take time to visit with us. And if they've got committee meetings, they may come in and stay 15, 20 minutes, and then they let you talk to their staff, because their staff are the ones that do the research, and they make sure what we're saying to them is correct, and how they utilize that, and then they have to make a decision on how they vote and those kind of things. So all of our representatives, whether it be Senator Cotton, Senator Bozeman, Crawford, Hill, Womack, and Westman, they all are for seniors. They have sometimes a different approach, how they want to go about that. Sometimes they may vote for a funding bill, but they know that the seniors in that arena is going to be taken care of.
Right.
So, they have to explain that to us. And so you got to be careful how you go in there. Sometimes we want to go in there and say, "What's wrong with you? Why are you not?" So,
why haven't you done this already?
It's the same way with our state senators and our governor and our representative here on the state level, that you have to make sure when you go visit with them that you have the facts, and that you make sure that what you're asking for fits into a transparent, and that it's good for seniors. And also, how do you blend that in with what we're doing on a statewide basis? So I really think, David, there is beginning to be a move in Washington. Now, you may not see that on TV, but I think there is a feeling that, folks, we've got to get back to governing, and that we're going to have to work together to get these, because the problems are huge.
Sure.
And just in the arena of I mentioned here today, is that when you got 10,000 people turning 65, there is a major shift in how the makeup of this country is going to be. So that's what we did in Washington, D.C. We just met with our representatives and our senators, and then we attended meetings that are put on by the National Area Agency on Aging, and what lies ahead, what services, how can we improve services for our seniors? Is there going to be changes in Medicaid? Are they going to allow more services for hearing and eyesight? And so a lot of things are coming up, or possibilities, but you have to go and see what's going on, so you'll be better informed as we actually work with our state officials, because a lot of our funds that come from the federal government are matched by our state monies, and so then those monies come down to us. So it sounds all complicated, and it is a little bit, but if you're working this every day, it's not quite as complicated that I'm trying to make it sound, I guess. But it's important, though, that we pay attention to it, because things happen, and people, they vote on people that they can rely on, that's giving them good information. And so that's the reason why we try to have a good relationship with our elected officials, whether it be on national level or here in the state of Arkansas.
Well, you have to identify the problems or the issues or the things that are coming up, like you identify, well, it's 10,000 people a day, and that's a higher number than it's ever been before.
Right.
So therefore, we're going to have to provide services for more people. How do we do that? How do we fund that?
And how do we fund that?
How do we fund it? And we're talking about money. We're talking about funding.
And we were fortunate that in this budget that we have right now, we did get some increases, but we hadn't had the increases for a very long time. So again, it's interesting. They give us an increase, and then the next thing you know, they're talking about how we're going to be able to keep those increases.
Right.
So it's very complicated how the budget works. But anyway, that's just part of the job that we have, and it is our job to provide, like I said, the information that how it affects our seniors in this country, and Arkansas for sure.
Yeah, we talk so much about what we do right here in Batesville, and what we do in Newport, and what we do in the other counties, with White River Area Agency on Aging, but then there's the state level, and then there's the national level, and you've got to have a voice, and we have a voice in Mr. Ted Hall.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope so, but the monies that operate senior centers, it all comes down. So
Sure.
I mean, it's really important that we stay in touch.
Mr. Ted Hall, glad you enjoyed your trip. Big political man as you
Oh,
are.
yes, right.
And it's not a political thing, but it's just one of those things that you have to do.
Yeah, it's part of the job,
It's
right?
part of the job to get in there because the pie's only so big with the dollars.
Absolutely.
And you got to have as big a piece of the pie as you need. Mr. Ted Hall.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, my
Okay,
friend.
all right.
Executive Director and White River Area Agency on Aging has never been in a better position than they are right now with Mr. Ted Hall.